You'll have to learn to live in a very strange new world.
At the base of the pyramid of the Great Seal of the US dollar bill, there is a phrase written in Latin that reads, Novo Ordo Seclorum, which means, when translated, a new order of the ages. Synonymous with the New World Order.
Novus Order Seclorum, a new order.
On January 30, 1976, a new document called the Declaration of Interdependence was introduced to the American people. It was signed by 32 senators and 92 representatives in Washington, D.C., and read in part, 2 centuries ago, our forefathers brought forth a new nation, now we must join with others to bring forth a new world order, end quote. Simply put, the New World Order is an agenda to unite the world under one government, and under one social system.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Strobe Talbott, President Clinton's Deputy Secretary of State, as quoted in Time, July 20, 1992, in the next century, nations as we know it, will be obsolete, all states will recognize a single, global authority. National sovereignty wasn't such a great idea after all, end quote. This new world order will be implemented by the one world totalitarian government. The changes that must be done with absolute political and social power, freely exercised by the joint organization of the world's leaders. The United Nations is a front for this new world agenda. As its name implies, it is a confederation of world countries. The future plan to unite the world in a world government have been the primal objective of the United Nations organization.
We have committed ourselves to the cause of a just and peaceful world order through the United Nations.
This is an historic moment. We have in this past year made great progress in ending the long era of conflict and Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
A one world governmental plan in a new world order have been spoken of for decades and through the last century. December 15, 1922, author Philip Kerr, in the CFR's magazine entitled Foreign Affairs, states, obviously, there is going to be no peace or prosperity for mankind, as long as the earth remains divided into 50 or 60 independent states. Until some kind of international system is created, the real problem today is that of the world government, end quote. In 1932, new books were published to further this aim, one of which was The New World Order, by F.S. Marvin. He described the League of Nations as the first attempt at a new world order. Marvin says, nationality must rank below the claims of mankind as a whole. End quote. Adolf Hitler, a socialist and the head of the German government, prior to enduring that nation's involvement in World War II. In the book, The Occult and the Third Reich, page 155. He is quoted as saying, National Socialism will use its own revolution for the establishing of a new world order, end quote. 1942, the Leftist Institute of Pacific Relations publishes Post-War Worlds by P. E. Corbett. I quote, "World government is the ultimate aim. It must be recognized that the law of nations takes precedence over national law. The process will have to be assisted by the deletion of the nationalistic material employed in educational textbooks and its replacement by materials explaining the benefits of wiser association." End quote.
I think a new world order is emerging, and with it the foundations of a new and progressive era of international cooperation. we have resolved that from today we will together manage the process of globalization to secure responsibility from all and fairness to all. And we've agreed that in doing so, we will build a more sustainable and more open and a fairer global society.
We've also seen that the fundamental building block of our international system, the sovereign state, you see it under stress from supranational organizations, sub-regional organizations, terrorist groups, transnational corporations, transnational non-governmental organizations, and so forth. We're seeing now that because of globalization, there is a tension between global processes and national regulation. We see that most vividly in financial flows that move around the globe almost instantaneously because of the internet, and yet it's still regulated largely by national regimes. And finally, we've seen globalization, the rise of new technologies, lead to an adjusting of the balance between state and society. I think most vividly right now in the Middle East. And so a massive global transformation. And all these forces, all these developments are going to play themselves out over the next decade. And the question is whether we can turn this challenge into an opportunity. Because there is an opportunity to take these various forces and build a new world order that will help create and sustain peace, prosperity, and justice well into the 21st century.
It's no surprise that today we have the World Health Organization, the World Bank, and the World Economic Forum. Notice the word, world. This is an indication of the gradual development of complete globalization. A CFR member, Richard N. Gardner, writing in the April 1974 issue of the CFR's journal, Foreign Affairs, he says, "The New World Order will have to be built from the bottom up, rather than from the top down. It will look like a great, booming, buzzing confusion, but an end run around national sovereignty, eroding it piece by piece, will accomplish much more than the old-fashioned frontal assault." End quote. The Future of Federalism by author Nelson Rockefeller, published in 1962. Nelson Rockefeller was a one-time governor of New York. He claims that current events demand a new world order, and as the old order is crumbling, there is a new and free order struggling to be born.
You know, my mother had an expression, out of everything terrible, something good will come if you look hard enough for it. I think this presents us with some significant opportunities to make some real changes. You know, we are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it, and we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway, I'm going to hush up, Mary, fire away.
Do you believe that this new world order will bring global peace and security? What if I told you that there is a sinister motive behind this new world order? If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, click on the notification, and I will see you in my next video.
You see, they were convened to uncover enemy agents, expose communist conspiracies, and write anti-sedition laws.